Hello!
Burnt Out Mamas!
Here we go, another
Happy
Friday. We have the most amazing lady today, and I'm so excited to announce who it is and introduce her. And her name's Pieta, and she runs an amazing company called Body by Pieta, which I am a part of because I love her.
I need to be part of it.
Yeah, I love her. And so I'm going to actually pass you on to Pieta to tell us what you do and introduce yourself.
Oh, well, thank you for having me on the show, ladies. I'm delighted to be here this Friday. So I'm Pieta. If you're wondering where my accent's from, I'm a Kiwi. I've been living here in the UK for, almost 20 years now. I'm a mum of 2 boys, preteen, which is challenging. And we live in the depths of Somerset. And yeah, I built my business in 2016. So I've been helping many burnt out mamas since then, and it's just grown from strength to strength, and we have a really amazing community which you're very much a part of, and I feel very blessed to be doing what I'm doing. So thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, it's amazing. So I actually came across Pieta by crazily. I just had Iona, and for like a year or so I was really looking for something that I just did not have the time. I was going to the gym, but I didn't have the time. And Iona was a bit of a nightmare when she was younger. I used to be part of a gym that had a creche. But halfway through my classes, I'd get a knock on the door and they'd be like, she's screaming the creche down. And so I'd have to go. And you know what? After a while, I just had enough of it. I was like, I cannot do this. And then weirdly, we talk about synchronicity so much and law of attraction. And I entered like a competition on Instagram, didn't I? And anyway, I won this competition, and it was one of Pieta's 6-week challenges, body challenges. And I also won like mirror tapping, and we've had Mira on our podcast as well, and Bryony, who is amazing. We've had her on also.
Yeah,
so I won all of these things, and
all through Instagram.
yeah, all through Instagram through doing a competition. So they do work, guys. They do work, and yeah, and honestly, all of you as a whole have like changed my life, and Pieta, especially you, because actually you've given me something to wake up for and get my day set into the right place. Do you know what I mean? Like, because sometimes I could just lie in bed and be like, oh God, I've got a whole day ahead of me. But actually doing a workout in the morning before my day starts, I feel so much better. And you do Zoom ones and catch up. So she has a whole company and website called Body by Pieta, and you can either do live workouts with you, can't you? At 6:30. I don't always get to them, but I still feel like I'm with you on my Zoom catch ups. So if I don't get to do the 6:30, I do the Zoom catch ups, and I do them. And I actually don't do them too much later. I do them at 7 a.m. But I've just missed the 6:30. And it really annoys me that I missed the beginning. I have to do the whole thing.
Is Iona in bed at this time, or does
No,
she
she's eating breakfast, and I do have like Barbies like thrown across the floor as I'm trying to work out, or she'll go to try and lift a weight, and I'm like, do not touch them if they go on your toes. Oh, but I tell Pieta, I tell everyone about you. I was like, she's got the most iron body. She's got a 6-pack. She's just
let me get
amazing. I know. So Pieta, I actually don't know all of this, and I'm really intrigued. So like, how did you get into it? Because I do know that you had a completely different job before you got into the fitness side. Can you tell us about your journey of like getting into it?
So, I was in TV and film for about 22 years, and that was my life. I used to, I was a producer, production manager. I was actually a TV presenter in New Zealand long time ago. A whole different life. Yep, there's a whole different life that you don't know about, Isla.
Oh my God. I know snippets from when we've gone out, but I don't know the whole part. And I love it. I love it.
Oh, well, maybe we'll get to that. Actually, I don't think any of my members know. But yeah, so TV and film was my life. And actually, the last 10 years of that career, I worked for MTV. So I was working for a very big entertainment company in London. And we did reality TV shows. I did travel shows, DIY type TV shows, all sorts of kind of stuff. So that was my previous life. And then when we moved to, well, we're in London, we moved a little out of London, and I was, mum of a baby and at the time, and I was, I guess, in and out of nurseries. I didn't know anyone, and we moved to Hampton, which was a new area for us. And I guess the best way to meet other mums, with kids the same age, is to, obviously, you join the toddler groups and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to do something different, which actually got everybody outside. So when I left my career, I was looking, obviously to re-qualify and to do something different. And I wanted to build a business around my kids, right? I didn't want the stress of going to an office. I didn't want to be away from them. I needed something that I could build around them. And so whilst I was trying to meet mums, I thought, well, why don't I get a group of women together who have all been complaining about the fact they never have time for themselves. They can bring the kids to the playground and we'll do a HIIT workout together. And I'll bring the boombox, we'll press play and we'll go for it. And I did that. That's how I kind of started. I just wanted to just meet people. And it was really fun. Like the whole playground was full of kids, sometimes 40 women would turn up with their buggies. The music was blaring. Kids were running around everywhere. And we were doing a workout together. And it was brilliant. So I ended up doing it twice a week. And this went on for 3 or 4 years. And they would turn up, rain, hail, or shine. Like they just kept showing up. And it was amazing. And then off the back of that, I got a lot of requests like, would you do, a program, a 6-week program or a 4-week program where we don't bring the kids, we'll turn up early. And these ladies were so keen and they would turn up, 6 a.m. in the morning. So in obviously wintertime, it was pitch black. Sometimes it might be raining, in which case maybe we'd cancel. But normally they were there. They were there in the black with our torches.
We loved the community.
It was incredible, honestly, under the moonlight. Like, it was quite special. I was very blessed to have this amazing group of women who we became friends, right? We were friends as well, and they'd bring their friends along. This is kind of how it started. So I started to do these programs, kind of like, not like boot camps, but they were designed for women. They were shorter style workouts early in the morning so they could get them done before the whole family woke up. And that worked. It worked really well. It was in person. And then, of course, lockdown happened. And at that point, I had kind of two arms to my business. I was doing the in-person training, and I was training I had various 2 school gyms I'd go to if the weather was awful, and we'd do it there. And then I had my nutrition arm to my business where I was helping people with, weight loss and muscle gains and athletes and whatnot. Anyway, lockdown happened, so I had to make a really quick decision about what I was going to do with the business. And I had done some live Zoom workouts before when the weather was really bad and everyone was like, yeah, we'll do it anyway. And I'd do it from my lounge, literally roll up the carpet, push the couch to the side, stuff everywhere, and we'd get this done. I had no lighting, no idea what I was doing, but I did have my TV and film background. And once I kind of cottoned on, okay, this is actually something that I could really turn into a serious business and pivot my business to be completely online, then I got a little more serious about the setup. So, bought some lights in, but still for quite some time, it was pretty basic, very, very basic. But during lockdown, it really did boom. It was the perfect time to build a digital business, to really help a lot of women who were really, really needed some community support. And there's something to do each day, something to show up for. And there were kids in the shots. I mean, even my own boys, it was hilarious. There were some workouts I was doing and they would wake up, and particularly Cooper, he was still in his nappy then, and he would swan across the screen with his thumb in his mouth, and the next thing would be a nappy thrown at the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully not soiled.
Yeah.
But, or they would sit on my back when I was doing a plank, and they were really sweet. They used to get involved a lot in those days.
But people love that as
Yeah.
well,
It's the
because it's
realness,
it's
isn't it?
real. It's real life. Like, we're juggling everything as it is in life. And like I said earlier, I'll be doing a workout and then I'll be like either putting my hand in a plank on a Barbie shoe and then getting so annoyed I'm like chucking it out of the door, like, get this Barbie shoe out. But yeah, it's real life, and we love that. And it's so nice how that journey has gone there for you. And it's so mad when you say as well, like, I was doing it like little bits before, like, obviously COVID happened, because then everything turned on Zoom. And
Online, didn't it?
yeah,
Everything.
so it's good that you had a little bit of experience, because actually when COVID did happen for me, was like, what is Zoom? I've never even heard of Zoom. Like, I've never done anything on Zoom in my life.
Their
So
shares went through the roof.
yeah, so yeah, that's amazing that you had that little like practice before when it rained and
Yeah,
stuff.
I
So
did have a little bit of a leg up. It was helpful to have that background. I managed to get, I think, online very quickly.
yeah,
However, there were I mean, many of my PT friends and various other fitness professionals, it was quite a big hurdle because for some people, they don't want to be on camera. You know,
yeah.
they find that quite difficult. So it was a whole new set of skills that, you know, all of us had to learn over that period. But it's very much my business now.
That's
So yeah.
amazing. It's so amazing. And actually, when I do my Zooms with you, I turn my camera off of myself. I don't want to watch myself. I just want to watch you because you're my target. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna get a body like that. Oh God.
You're great.
So no, it's amazing. Like, how did you with your like fitness journey, like for me, fitness makes me feel really good, like for my mental health, everything. Like, was there anything that made you change into that, like, cycle, that journey of fitness, the fitness side?
Yes, well, quite a few things, I guess. I mean, as a young woman in my 20s, I well, I might as well tell you. So there's this thing. So I was a reality TV star once upon a time in my 20s. It was probably the very first, so Big Brother was the first one ever, right? That was the first show ever. In New Zealand, my boss my boss, who she became my boss, she was developing a new concept, which was in a race to get it out to market with Survivor. Now you remember Survivor, remember that show?
Yeah.
And so she wanted to take it to market first. So I was in this reality type Survivor show called Treasure Island. And it was the very first of its kind, and it got to market before Survivor did. And back then we shot it in Fiji, and there were two teams, and we were to solve these clues and whatnot. And anyway, I ended up as one of the last two on this island. And
There are clips on the internet.
well, they actually do have the first series on YouTube, but it's very hard to find. And
Oh,
I
God.
remember being on that show, and I hadn't done a lot of, I guess, fitness at that point. I was a fit girl, but I remember, you know, stepping off that show, and I all of a sudden got a lot of attention. You know, it was incredible how much the media, you know, uptook Treasure Island. I was on the face of lots of magazines, and there were articles with it.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And then I got invited back. So I ended up getting employed by the company that made it. So I ended up producing my favorite, you know, music countdown show called Ready to Roll, which was really my passion. And then I got asked to then production manage the next series of Treasure Island. And then I went back as a celebrity with the All Blacks and various other kind of New Zealand celebs at the time. So I did it
Oh
a few
God,
times.
you've had a completely different life in New
Very,
Zealand.
very different, very different. And you know what? Quite
Wow.
forgotten actually. I haven't really talked about that for a long, long time. But I remember during those years, because I was in my early 20s, I was so young, and seeing myself in the media and being quite body conscious actually all of a sudden. I never was before. I was quite buxom. I had big boobs, you know, I was rounded, felt great about myself, but you know, felt the pressure of media back then. And I think, you know, I guess that's when I really kind of started to turn my head to wanting to feel fitter and stronger and to feel more confident in my body. That was the first time I think I really felt that there was a bit of a switch. But also I loved it. I was a very horsey girl. I used to ride horses. That was my passion. That was something I wanted to take right to the top, to the Olympics. But I found boys. So that just, everything changed.
Yes.
So I was very strong, but I wasn't like a gym goer. I wasn't, you know, certainly not doing what I'm doing now. But there was always a huge interest, like you mentioned, synchronicity and, you know, the spiritual side of things and the deeper element of your wellness and mindset and, you know, self-love and all that kind of stuff. I love all that kind of stuff. Loved it. But to pair it with the physical, you know, it's something that just evolved over time. So firstly, whilst I was in television, And then I moved to London, met lots of people, was influenced by various people, which then, got me into triathlons and, trying new things to, I guess, express myself in a physical way. And and then here I am now. It became a passion because I really felt that I could help women. And I love to listen. I love to hear people's stories. And if there's something that I can do to help support them in some way, it just became this beautiful kind of, journey of piecing together all the parts of my life to now arrive in this amazing position where I can help women feel good about themselves inside and out, and also leaning on my own experiences, working in TV, working in a very corporate job, working as a mum, 47 now, so gone through a fair amount of hormonal changes, and that's not over.
Well, you look amazing,
Yeah, because
47.
I'm nearly 44 at Christmas, so
Yay.
it would be really interesting because I think I'm starting to experience different things in my body with hormones. I mean, I don't know, but it's all new. This is all new.
Yeah, the hormone changes can really slap us in the face all of a sudden. We feel like we think that like perimenopause and menopause are really far away. We don't identify with it. I think, a lot of women that I have worked with think that the word menopause means it's something that's so far away from them. There's a particular stereotype that even we have as women. I'm so happy to see so much more content out there that's, really trying to get people to talk about it and to take away the stigma and to also educate. You mentioned that these hormone changes are happening, but like what's really going on? Why is it happening? Is it even that? Blaming it on other things. And, education is huge, like just trying to inform women and actually help them really help us all, really acknowledge that certain symptoms are definitely a signal that there are changes happening in the body. And there's so much we can do to help it. And there's lots we can do to make it worse as well. So
Yeah, you have actually diet plans, don't you, for like your hormones? You give a lot of advice to women who are going through that premenopausal stage.
Yep, there's a quite a few ways we can skin a cat. So depending on the individual, because no perimenopause or menopause are alike really, and there's a lot of variables that can affect our health. So what I do supply, so there's a few different ways in which people would work with me. Like with you, Isla, it's through a group program. It's our challenges. I provide like a group recipe pack and meal plan, which is, everyone can have a go at. They can follow it verbatim, or they can pick, cherry pick the recipes that they love. But really, it's a nice way of just taking the guesswork out. But the next level or tier to that is my 12-week one-to-ones. I have one-to-one members who it's very personalized. So it's drilling down much more to exactly what their goals are, how active they are, their macro makeup, the calorie range, and so on. So there's a few touch points in which, and sometimes just some subtle tweaks can make all the difference to some women, and some need a little bit more of a deeper dive. It depends, right? But it's a fun journey, which I love to do with my clients. Yeah.
Very empowering.
And
as
you
well,
must see like people's mental health changing massively, because like just fitness as it is so good for your mental health, like your hormone balance, like your and everything. It's like the more it's that thing, energy produces energy, doesn't it? So it's that.
And actually, a lot of athletes, I know you said you touched on it, but even the guys I dated back then, all very successful because they've got that, it's the body, mind, they've got the competitive spirit, you're feeding your body right. It all goes hand in hand, doesn't it?
100%. And I'm so glad you said that, because I think, there's a few principles I think can sometimes get missed out. So let's say, for example, a woman is on a weight loss journey. She wants to lose some weight, going through perimenopause, busy mama, has stress in her life, has tried a few things, and nothing seems to be working. And that seems to be quite a common pattern. A lot of women who come to me with very similar struggles. Right? So yeah, it sounds familiar, right? And, I'll ask them, so what have you tried so far? Well, I think I eat pretty healthily. I've been exercising, going to CrossFit, and I've been, going to spin classes, and I'm trying to run, and but I've also, my life's really hectic. I'm trying to juggle work and kids, and I'm squeezing it in, and sometimes I just end up eating the kids' food because I don't have time to make stuff for myself, and so on, right? Sounds familiar. And they might say, can you just tell me what to do? Can you just tell me what to do? And yes, I can give you some principles, but it really needs to be, all put together rather than just dieting or just, hammering the exercise. But what I would say is, you mentioned, the mindset and the physical. So the physical side for us ladies has to be tweaked when we're going through perimenopause or hormonal changes, whatever they are. Going to CrossFit and, really killing ourselves at the gym for hours doing cardio or running more is not going to actually help the cause. It's certainly not going to help with long-term sustained fat loss or muscle gains, right? It'll drive our cortisol in the wrong direction. So it can really work against us. But that's just one thing. And, if we get our exercise right, we then need to get how we're fueling our bodies right. So that's the next step. It's tweaking our diet to make sure we're eating enough protein, enough fiber, pairing it with healthy fats. So if we're a stressed body, we need the healthy fats to help our body cope. And just making sure we're hitting that sweet spot with a gentle calorie deficit, not some kind of major crash diet, which again will break our metabolism. Hormones don't like it. So you've got your exercise, you've got the right way to fuel, then you have your mindset. And that's a big piece which I feel like is often missing, or where various fitness programs are really failing women, because we're already struggling a lot of the time with our limiting self-beliefs, with our own patterns of thought and patterns of behavior which are not serving us, and whether it's our fault or not. And if that piece is missing and we're not helping with behavior change and really helping women see themselves in a whole new light, to accept themselves, to identify the patterns that are happening, then you can have the best program on the planet, but if that one step is missing, then it'll fall flat. We won't be able to sustain it, or they'll give up. Right?
Yeah.
That's just another thing that didn't work for me. So that's a big piece that I find very important to really weave in to my programs, and certainly with my one-to-one clients or anyone that I work with, is marrying that step together. But there's so many other things as well, depends on the person. Stress management, sleep quality, hydration, supplementation, like creatine, for example. And there's sorry, say again.
I was just saying, like with the supplements, that's what we're sort of learning about at the moment. It's like a whole new ball game. Like you're constantly learning, and there's new fads coming out, new trends. What you thought was good last week might not be good this week. And I comfort eat as well. I know, like yesterday I actually had, obviously with the car being stolen, I had a bowl of Frosties and full fat milk. I've not had it in years, but I really fancied it.
Was it good? I bet it was good.
Like you get those pregnancy cravings, not that I'm pregnant, but I just wanted it. But I know, like, if I was feeling in a better place, I wouldn't have done that. And also I had a chocolate bar and crisps. My crisps is like, especially like the prawn cocktail, probably with the most monosodium glutamate in, is my thing that I go to. So I know for me that when I'm feeling stressed, that's when I
stress eat.
Things. Yeah.
But I think it's that if you've got that as
and I love food.
Yeah, and it's like everything, it comes as a package, isn't it? So like even my husband, he's gone on a real big health journey, but what he did was he changed his whole diet.
Yeah.
So he changed his whole diet first, and he was like, the energy I've got, I want to go to the gym. So then once he changed his diet for about 2 months, the start of it, he was like, I'm feeling so energetic in the mornings. Like he wasn't feeling lethargic, anything like that. So then he was like, I'm going to now join the gym. So then that went in hand with that. And then since he's joined the gym, he's like a different husband. Yeah. He's like now doing like positivity stuff, which I thought he would never ever do. Like law of attraction. No, honestly, when I had the scan, I was like, thank God for that. Like he was really panicking on the lead up to it. But his journey has been really incredible to watch himself, because he's done one step at a time. But then since he feels good in his body, his mind has followed. So like weird stuff. Like when we was on holiday, he was like, "Oh, I just listened to The Secret," and I was like, "What?" Like he would never ever like listen to things like that. And typical man, like, "Oh, it's all a load of rubbish." Like that's what his attitude used to be like. But
Yeah.
he's really changed. And what I'm like obviously saying is like it really having it all together really changes everything.
It does. I did Jason Vale's juice retreat years ago, so I have done things that have worked, but I noticed with that, because we were healing our bodies and just having juices, when we finished it I was surviving on 4 hours sleep. I had so much energy, but obviously it's not something you do all the time. He talked about doing it as like an MOT for a car, like you put in snippets of it when you're feeling like after Christmas or Easter if you want to reset. So it's kind of, you know, when you talk about food, nutrition, it's not just about weight loss, it's about nutrition as well. And
100%.
I'd love to look into yours, because obviously like I am reaching perimenopause or whatever it's called. I don't even know if I'm going into it, but to learn more about the body.
For sure. Well, I think any woman that's even from the early 30s, you know, is a great time to start paying attention and educating yourself and reading and preparing the body, because the earlier you start with your strength training, building muscle, the earlier you start with, you know, looking at food as your medicine, as your nourishment, rather than, you know, punishing your body for your food crimes. You know, you should be able to have balance. You got to live your life, right? But the more that you prepare, you know, for the change with your diet, your exercise, your mindset, and your healthy habits, you are going to be setting yourself up for such a sweeter ride. Obviously, some women have a really tough time through that transition. Some breeze through it. And there are a lot of variables that impact the severity of the results. It can be genetics, it can be all sorts of lifestyle factors. But yeah, I would say the earlier you start, the better, you know, and I think, you know, it can feel a little overwhelming if we feel like we have to do all of these things. Like with your husband, I know that's awesome. He got into the nutrition first and he felt the benefits. He then had the energy to then get to the gym. Fantastic. Sometimes for women, it's usually the other way around. They want to work out first before they adjust how they eat.
It's true actually. I've been the other way around. It's like when I train, I want to eat healthy. We are very different.
Yeah.
Like it is. I think women and men are very different in that way.
It's part of our social life as well. We like going out for breakfast. We like going out
Or
for
lunches.
It's part of our social thing.
Yeah.
So it's tying that into, like we both. You did dancing heavily. I used to be a dancer, but I could eat what I wanted, and I always stayed very slim. And it wasn't until going to university, obviously, where we were drinking a lot, then I didn't understand why I was putting on weight, because we weren't taught nutrition back then. I mean, Mum cooked very healthy. Everything was freshly cooked, wasn't it?
Stews. I mean, we grew up on stews.
And we had no junk food. I didn't even know what takeaway was until
Mum would
university.
never let us have fizzy drinks, anything.
So I suppose we were having good nutrition, but I didn't know about it. So I piled on the weight when we were going out to eat and takeaways, because I'd never had it before. But I think it should be part of every curriculum, like learning what you're putting into your body. But obviously there's another conspiracy there that we're not taught it because of the junk industry and how much money it brings in the world. So,
yeah, that's worrying. I know, like, and it's interesting too, because, you know, healthy food in schools, I mean, and it's not always easy for every school to be able to supply, you know, the truly healthiest version of lunch. However, they do their best. You know, they really do the best with the budgets that they've got. But teaching kids how to distinguish between what's healthy and not, between the processed foods, the ultra processed foods, and the whole foods. I mean, kids are amazing. I think particularly when they're younger, you know, when they're toddlers up to the age of about 6, they naturally gravitate to want to eat something healthy if they've been eating something that has been more ultra processed. You tend to see them all of a sudden they're grabbing an apple or eating a carrot. They instinctually know. From I think 6 onwards, it could be a little bit older, that's when it starts to change. They're more influenced by marketing, they become more addicted to sugar, you know, they kind of lose that sense. So yeah, I mean, I try and teach my boys as much as I can without being preachy.
Yeah, but it's so important, I think, because they're the next generation and we were never taught it. But I don't remember, although I probably did actually, thinking of it. Like, if we got money to go to the shop, we probably would buy
yeah,
Oh,
like a
sweets.
fizzy drink or
Yeah.
something behind my mum's
Yeah.
back or
yeah.
pack of
But I
sweets.
mean, right, you've had it with
But,
your teaching with the school kids. When they've had a lot of sugar or they've
oh
had an event at
gosh.
school, they're really hard to manage.
Different
Imagine
behaviour.
what teachers are going through that is
I
Mm.
know.
functional
Well,
though.
when we
It
do
is
like,
linked to ADHD.
well, when we teach at the camps, we say only water. We say only fruit for snacks and like healthy lunch,
No
because
yogurts.
like we will see young kids come in with like as their lunch sometimes
Yeah.
pack of crisps
Or
and
a blue fizzy drink.
and a pack of mini eggs. I was like, but obviously they've maybe got a sandwich in there first, but obviously the kids are going to reach for the rubbish first and then they don't eat the sandwich because they're full from the chocolate. So now we're like really strict on no, like you can have that after you finish your sandwich, whatever.
Yeah.
But we notice such a difference in their
Behaviour.
behaviour. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And also, like really weirdly, when Iona was younger, this was when she was about 2 and she was eating foods and stuff. If we gave her a yogurt at
Oh my God,
five
the
five
yogurts.
o'clock, like
The
you know
Paw
this,
Patrol ones,
just
the
the
petty-
petit flu
Oh,
ones,
yes.
Worse than
she would not go to
chocolate.
sleep at 7. Like
Crazy.
she was buzzing, and it's the sugar in it.
Mm.
And we're so drawn into the branding, like that marketing thing that yeah, I think if you can promote healthy eating to your kids as much, we're the only people that can teach our kids it, because out there it's on socials, it's like, you know, the new thing come out on TikTok is the new chocolate bar or the new fizzy drink. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And kids follow because they're so innocent, they're drawn into it straight away.
100%.
And
And
it's
modeling from your own behaviors. I think it's got to, if you want your kids to be more conscious of healthy eating, then they need to see it happen in the home as well. And like they need
yeah.
to see you setting the example, and they model off that, you know. And often, actually, as parents, we're not always sure. You know, so many clients I've worked with, they feel really kind of at a loss. Well, I'm not really sure what to give my kids if they're doing a packed lunch, for example. You know, so the crisps and the mini eggs and the fizzy drink, they thought that was okay. I thought, well, it's food. But not really factoring in things like, well, what's going to help keep them the energy balance, you know, proteins and good fibrous carbs and, you know, other, yeah, sure, you could throw in a chocolate bar, but ensuring that it's balanced with the healthy stuff. And it just comes again with helping, I think, parents, you know, help them live a healthy life first as well. And that'll transcend into how that then reflects into what they feed their kids and what their kids see.
Yeah, and also once you realise what you're putting in your body and how it makes you feel, you're more conscious of it, aren't you? Like of what you're putting into your kids as well, because you think, like, yeah, I think even like a thing for the young ones at the moment is snacking. Oh my God, like mine goes on all day. Like if I've got a day at home with Iona, it's literally every like 10 minutes.
Constant.
It's like she's like, Mum, can I have a snack? Can I have this? Can I have that? So now, so I'm like, you can either have grapes. So I give 2 choices. I'll be like, right, you can have grapes or an apple. And to be honest, she does have loads of fruit, but I'd rather her have that than all these. Because even the snacks, I look on the back of it and I'm like, the first thing that's in that snack is sugar. And it's like, oh, yeah, honestly. But the whole day with them having snacks they just are off the roof.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, the sooner you can introduce more protein type snacks.
Yeah.
I mean, if your kids can have nuts and seeds and they can be packed into like a homemade granola bar or something like that, they're always great. I used to make bliss balls for my kids, like protein balls. And they loved those. They would eat them up because it had cacao powder in it, and you know the medjool dates, and but was packed with protein. So then they wouldn't come back to the cupboard asking for another snack every 5 minutes, because I mean, my boys are, what are they,
Yeah.
12 and 9 now, and like growing fast and are constantly eating. And,
Oh boy,
you know, they
yeah.
would eat crisps and, you know, mini eggs all day long if I let them.
Oh, they would. They
Um,
would.
but yeah, just trying to, again, have something that they can just quickly grab. Sometimes I have hard-boiled
That's really
eggs.
cool.
Sometimes I have, you know, some leftover chicken that they can just go and grab, you know.
Yeah.
So anything to help support their hunger, because hunger, they need protein. If they keep eating sugar, they keep eating even fruit, actually, it's not going to necessarily fill the gap. They'll come back 5 minutes later because it spikes their insulin, they're hungry again.
I'm going to try the protein then because
Protein.
that's a really heavy point for
A
me
chicken
because
drumstick or
she'll
something.
have a grape and then probably 10 minutes later she'll have an orange and then 10 minutes later it'll be an apple
Yep.
and then
Upset
yeah,
tummy.
Yep.
and then well I do
It's
give her she
acidic,
loves
isn't it?
cashew nuts actually. So I've started to do cashew nuts and blueberries in a pot.
A
But
pistachio is good because my son loves
I love
pistachio.
a
It's goodness,
pistachio.
salty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's
salty
good.
nuts.
Obviously, too
So
much of
yeah.
anything is, you know, a balance. Little handful of mixed
Yeah.
nuts is good if they like mixed nuts.
Oh,
Yeah, but there's plenty of ways you could get that protein into your kids. I know some kids can't have eggs and they can't have nuts, but it's about being creative. If you don't want to reach for something off the shelf that you know is full of sugar, then you know chances are you need to make it.
yeah. Can we ask some other stuff? So, when you go back to New Zealand, are you like recognised when you go?
Well, thankfully, no.
Oh no! I
No.
was going to ask because you did like so much, but I suppose it was quite a few years back, wasn't it, when
Yeah,
you
well, I'm
went?
47 now, and when all that was kicking off, I was 21.
Wow.
However, I was doing TV work right up until I left New Zealand. So I was 27 when I left. So I was doing various bits and bobs. But no, I mean, when I went home, you know, the earlier years when I first arrived in London, I would get recognised by the airport staff or by passport control. They're like, "Hi, welcome, Pieta, welcome home," and that was always quite funny. But then, you know, they did a lot of reruns of the show, and I wasn't living there, so I didn't really see anybody really. But it's been I now, if I'm lucky, I get home every 3 years.
Yeah.
Um, and no one knows me, which is
Is
fine.
that a good thing for you? Are you like, right, I'm completely out of that era now? Because I think even you saying being in your 20s is quite, it's a very vulnerable stage in your life. I remember I was very
Yeah.
conscious in my 20s of my body.
Yep, so was I. I wasn't until I went onto TV and then I saw myself and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
then became, I guess, a victim to media. Not that
Yeah.
it was ever pointed out to me that I was overweight, but I was overweight actually at the time, and I'd then moved to Queenstown. I'd done Queenstown work and I'd been living on cheesecake for a while and had no money. And so I saw my body change, you know, quite a lot, and I didn't feel great about myself. And yeah, I mean, it's really tough for girls during that time. I mean, that's also, you know, when still those models, amazing models of the 80s were still, you know, very, very poignant in the media, and it was all about being skinny. And I think for our age group, that's carried through. You know, it's a very different. It's been a challenge even at this point to turn our mindset into strong, not skinny. I'm loving a lot of what I'm seeing. You know, with the new generations coming through. There's so many. There's also skinny as well, but I'm seeing more and more focus on being strong and seeing these girls, you know, just wanting to build muscle and to crush it at the gym, which is great. It's so great to see all those athletes getting out there and playing a lot of sport.
There's so much stuff on social media now. Like you said, when your friends first went on like Zoom, they're very self-aware. But I think we've got to a point as well. Like there's millions of people now on social media. Everyone's so different, but sometimes we do self-analyze as well, don't we? I go on my double chin, like what the hell? I never had that. It always used to be like perp. Obviously, everything's drooping a little bit now, but you do kind of think as well, this is us, this is reality, you know, you either, you know, you just got to try and be a bit happy in your skin, but that is that being healthy and strong that I want to aim for and strive for. So it's not necessarily about losing weight, but when you are healthy and strong, this does all lift up. So
Sure. I mean, that's that self-acceptance, isn't it? It's like it's loving yourself no matter what. And I think that's the bit that I was mentioning earlier is often the piece that's missing, because let's say you lose all the weight. Let's say that you're stronger, but you still don't love yourself. You're still not happy with really what's going on. There's always something. And it's a constant work in progress for all of my clients, including myself, and it takes a lot of work for us to get to a place where we're, it's a privilege to be growing older. Okay, it sucks going through the hormone changes, without a doubt. But there are lots of variables we can control to help ourselves feel better, to feel stronger, to look at ourselves with a different lens on. And that then transcends into our actions. Our relationship with ourselves, our relationship with others, what we feel that we're worthy of, what we want to strive for. The ripple effect from just simply going and doing a workout is so much bigger than just showing up for a workout. It's the ripple effect, that vibration of how, if you're doing it consistently and how that becomes embedded into your lifestyle. I work with a lot of women who are very enterprising entrepreneurs, high corporate level ladies, just busy mamas, juggling it all and doing side hustles or whatever, but are ambitious. And if they've come to me, they've felt that their performance has been not to the level that they need to sustain a business, for example, to grow, to keep up that kind of energy. So I work with all sorts of women to really help them not just feel stronger physically, but it actually then transcends into their performance at work. And, they might go for that promotion. They might decide that, God damn it, I'm quitting. I'm going to go and start my own business. And that often comes from that inner confidence, that confidence of wanting to, do better. And it needs to have that whole bigger picture. If your foundation is strong and you're looking after yourself, then you'll find that your performance, and it's like that sliding doors scenario, what's the cost if you don't? What would life look like then?
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh.
This
I actually love it. I feel like I could talk to you for
Yeah.
hours and hours. I love it. And I'm so intrigued by like your past and how you got there. And I think it's incredible. And I think even whatever age you are, like what comes with age is experience. So, and like what you can give like females now and entrepreneurs and everything. And it is amazing. And I really inspire to you. I think you're really amazing. And any ladies out there that are listening, go and follow Pieta. And your website is bodybypieta.com. I should know
just
this.
bypieta.com. Bypieta.com. Yeah.
.com. I literally do it every day.
Raise your vibrations, which is
Raise your
what we want to do for all our
vibrations.
community.
Yeah, and all our mamas out there. So no, thank you.
Pleasure.
And did you say that you've got a challenge coming up?
I do. It's actually running now, and it will be running for as long as you want to do it. It is my free 5-day flatter tummy challenge, which I launched first, I think it was the beginning of last year, and it was huge uptake. Because who doesn't love a 5-day challenge to help trim down the waistline and to actually just kickstart the body into gear? So that is open for anyone to join. You can start anytime, and then my role in it is to help keep you accountable. So I'm not just going to leave you to it. If you would like to do it, engage with me. You can sign up easily. There'll be a link here that you can easily sign up. You'll be prompted with a few texts and emails to help you get started, and then I'm here. But there's core workouts every day, there are recipe packs to follow, and really helpful insight, which can really drill down to why perhaps you're experiencing bloating, midsection belly fat, a whole heap of other things that are way more beneficial than just what's happening to your belly. But it's a really nice kickstart and a great way to, I guess, sample, a little bit of what I do. And so you can join. And then for those participants that go through the 5 days, I'm then offering you a free trial, so 2-week free trial on my next 6-week challenge, which Isla will be there, and hopefully you too.
I will. I know. We need to get her on it.
Post-pregnancy belly.
I tell her about it all the
shift.
time, and so now she's actually met you, Pieta, as well. It's amazing.
It's just the energy, like when you can click with someone or you've got to feel on their wavelength, I think, to work with them or do workouts or whatever.
100%. You got to resonate. You got to resonate for sure. You got to find your person. Find your person.
Yeah, and I will put you were my person as well. So I'm like, look at your ass
Just
today.
6:30 in the morning. I have to pre-record it because my kids.
Well, no, it goes on a pre-recording,
Yeah,
so you
so I'd
can
be doing the
even I could even
Whether
if
it's
you've dropped them
school,
school, and then you can log on
Yeah.
at
I want them on my
9:30.
own. I don't want them.
Yeah, no,
But
you
Pieta
can join
makes it
live or
feel
you
that
can
you're
do the
still with her.
recordings. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
like most of my clients do the recordings. Only a small fraction actually do the lives, but
That's what's so good.
yeah, it's good fun.
But if you do get up at 6:30, you've
Do,
got that option.
I'm up. It's just that they will be jumping on me.
It's part of the fun.
Well, we'll put all your links in the show notes. So anybody who's interested in By Pieta, and I cannot highly recommend enough. So anybody who wants to, we'll put it all in the show notes, and you can follow her, check out her website. Thank you.
Body.
Yeah, her amazing
Yeah,
body.
mind,
Oh,
everything.
we love it. Well, have a lovely weekend, and thank you so much for coming on and empowering all our listeners out there.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me, but also for helping me, because I think everything that you guys are doing, you're helping so many of us just feel like we're a part of something, that we're not going nuts, that we're a part of a really big family of, burnt out mamas. So thanks for helping me and for having me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. See you later, Pieta.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Bye. If you're loving the show, don't forget to download our latest episodes. It helps us a ton by boosting the show and making sure more people find us.
Plus, you can listen anytime, anywhere, even offline.
And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on Spotify so you never miss a new drop.
Want even more behind the scenes content? Follow us on Instagram, YouTube and TikTok at Burnout Mamas, one word, for exclusive clips, updates and fun extras.
Hit that follow button, send us a message, and let's keep the Burnout Mamas community going.